So speaking of Cuisinart,
Thank you. That's a good ply name.
yeah, it was almost my ply name, and here's why.
Love
So
it.
my first year, we had a different kitchen manager, and whatever night, I think it was Soul Food Night, it must have been. You weren't there. We had to cook something for the vegans, and our kitchen manager that year was more of a chaos monkey, and he didn't really have like pre-planned recipes, or like he had recipes in mind, but not like written down and like follow this thing exactly. Go ahead.
But you have to do your calculations.
He did basic calculations. Don't.
But you can't be basic. You have to be better than everyone. You're
So-
cooking for them.
Yeah, so on whatever night it was, I think Thursday, we realized, okay, we have like 6 vegans or so in camp or whatever. And he's like, make something for the vegans. And I'm like, make what for the vegans? He goes, I don't know, fucking figure it out.
Yeah, put fucking peanut butter on top of tofu. I don't give a shit. Neither do they. They're vegan.
So basically, I'm like, well, what ingredients can I take that we're not using for other meals?
Sprouts. Fuck. I don't know.
So I took leftover grilled cheese sandwiches, vegan grilled cheese sandwiches, scraped off. Wait. This guy.
No.
Scraped off the cheese, threw that away. Toasted all the bread.
I'm chopping this up so many different ways.
Chopped
You
it
serve
up.
these vegans so much cheese.
I chopped it up into basically breadcrumbs. And as I'm doing this, I was making hush puppies. This is where I was going with it. Because we had like corn and tofu and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm chopping up this extra toasted bread literally into breadcrumbs. And I look at him and I said, why don't we have a Cuisinart? And he goes, you're the fucking Cuisinart now.
Cuisinart's a good one, too.
Yeah.
Other than it's hard to say and remember.
Yeah, I'm Cuisinart now.
But the hush puppies were good, and that might be another reason
Hush
why.
puppies are good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Accuracy Third. Hi, Eyesore, and hi, patrons. This has been a whole bunch of shit that even you didn't hear because we kept that out. But we think you're great, and thank you for helping support this podcast. Should we do a quick in and out for Fender Bender? Or do you guys not remember talking to Fender Bender and Punisher?
I remember talking to Fender Bender and Punisher.
Hi, Fender Bender and Punisher. Accuracy Third, D-Day.
Beth.
Rex remembers all of our interviews eventually.
Oh, Rex remembers all the interviews.
Eventually is pulling a lot of weight.
Yeah.
The thing about Rex is he's almost never that drunk during these interviews.
Oh, Rex doesn't get shit canned
I
while
can only forget
recording.
things when I'm drunk. Drunk like Punisher and Fender Bender.
I remember Punisher and Fender Bender because they are some of the lovely humans that we sit down with, and I'm like, have we been friends for years? Like, how is
Yes,
it that we are?
but we have been friends for years.
Yeah,
you just don't recognize their faces.
The answer was yes.
We hung out with them once on Playa.
That is the deepest friendship known to man.
It happened before and during other catastrophes.
Well, that's every time you hang out with people on Burning Man.
Yeah, that's why we trauma bond so well and so quickly.
It was a hangout we had to escape at high speed. And not because they were awful. They were great.
There was just a tier 1 fake emergency you had to fake respond to.
There were thunderstorms that may or may not have come at us.
Within 30 miles of us.
But totally didn't. I actually I loved having Fender Bender in and Punisher back. I like when we get to do these like revisits of previous guests and deeper contextualizations of their experience.
And then I can ask them questions that they answered on the last time they were on the podcast and admit that I've never listened to the episode.
Punisher is a great episode. Also, E-Industrial is a great episode wherein Rex ascribed the patch that we got from Punisher to E-Industrial. Our correction is that Punisher supplied us with the...
Dude, are you deliberately continuing to fuck this up?
Didn't he email us and tell us it wasn't him?
No, man.
Who was it?
Which patch?
The fuck hard patch.
Oh.
So I'm
Wrong. You're wrong,
Well,
which is why we got that email.
It totally seems like I'm wrong, but I also have a very strong recollection of getting that patch from E-Industrial, so it kind of makes me wonder if he was fucking with me if he had gotten some of those patches off of Space Burrito.
Space Burrito. Yes.
That's much closer to Punisher than Ian.
It's possible that E Industrial was pulling something. It's also possible that my brain was mush. And
Nah.
in either
At
case,
the listener appreciation party?
deepest apologies to Space Burrito because the patches were quite lovely. And
As was the sticker from E Industrial showing Artax drowning in the playa last year.
yeah,
Oh, that is a great sticker.
It is a great sticker. Thank you, E Industrial. Thank you, Space Burrito. Now, back to Fender Bender, who should not be defined by her marriage to Punisher. Fender Bender is the Lamplighter kitchen lead. The Lamplighters, an entirely legitimate team at Burning Man.
I do want to highlight one thing about Punisher, though. Punisher did an incredible job highlighting Fender Bender as the guest on this episode,
Yes, he did.
directing attention.
Not
constantly
all
back to her.
husbands do that. Some husbands on the podcast. Fender Bender, thank you for spending time with us and telling us your Burning Man stories and allowing Beth and I both to pick your brains and talk over you while you were trying to describe your kitchen while we were trying to describe our situations.
Kitchen tours. Instead of the shitty engineering tours,
Kitchen tours.
kitchen tours.
That's not actually my playa name.
What's your plan?
I am Fender Bender, formerly known as Robinator.
Both of those are very good playa names.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I would call you either of them.
What did you do to get Fender Bender?
It's actually a fun story.
Nothing. I robinated too hard.
Well, no, I did nothing to get Robinator. I came prepackaged with that one. To get Fender Bender was 2022, right? Yeah, you can talk. You don't have to just give me a thumbs up.
I mean, this is mostly you, so
Yeah, but still, who are you? And then back to Robin.
Who are you and why are you here?
Am I super compressed? I feel super compressed.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hearing you peek out.
I hate it.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Oh, that's great.
so I am Punisher once again. For those that might remember me, and I'm sorry if you do.
I'm sorry, too.
Yeah, so the legend of now Fender Bender comes on the heels of the Not So Storm when
Yes.
we met with you on the penalty bar.
Uh-huh.
At
I
Lamplighter
remember
Village.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pieces are clicking together
Yes.
right
Yes.
Yes. After that incident, we decided to go out for the night. He went out with some friends and I went out with some other friends in a different direction on bikes. He did not go on bikes because he is not great on a bike.
I am not.
That is fine. So we're riding along Esplanade. And right around Thunderdome, my back fender decided that it was not going to be attached to my bike anymore. And one of our new Lamplighters at the time, like, sort of freaked out. He's like, "Robin, you have to stop. Your fender's falling off." I'm like, I know. Okay.
What if you ruin your bicycle? That's why I'm compressed so hard.
Yes.
Because
Sorry,
you
please
because you shout
Into the
constantly
microphone.
shout
Yeah.
into the mic. Yes.
Sometimes I shout away from the mic.
Yeah,
That's what you're
sometimes.
supposed to do.
So I said to him, "Okay, watch this." And I was like, "I'm going to show him how the playa provides." And I get off my bike, and first we looked for the screw that had fallen out. Couldn't find it. Sorry, we left Moop. And so I stand up and I scream, "Does anybody have a screwdriver?" And some random guy stops. And he's like, "I have this little tiny screwdriver thing, and it's like one of these like credit card shaped things that has all the different sizes in it."
The thing that's got all your tools and none of them are going to work well.
Right. And it did not work well, but it did work. So Hoyle, who was with us, hi Hoyle, takes this tiny little screwdriver thing and like fits it between like the fender and the bike, and he turns it like 1/16 of an inch 700 times. We finish removing the fender from my bike, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to leave it on the bike rack right here at Thunderdome so I know where it is, and I'll come back and get it tomorrow. The other person who was with us, who was that? It was
Super Pet.
Super Pet. She goes, "Fender Bender, that's your new playa name." And I said, "Great."
It's not bad.
I said, "That's better than Robinator, and at least I earned it by doing something that sounds worse than it is."
Yeah, I mean, I was really expecting, because A lot of people have car-related injury names out there, and often they're about getting on or off or driving on playa, and I'm glad it was a bike situation.
Yes, I will knock on wood as I say I am a good driver and I have never crashed a car.
Wow. You can.
I might eventually.
Yeah, it's not great.
So
far you can walk away from it.
Yes. So we went back the next day, and of course the fender was gone.
Yeah, Thunderdome cleans up its shit.
Yeah, someone made that into an epaulette or something.
Yeah, someone took my fender and did whatever they did with it. And when we got home, I took the front fender off, and it now hangs on our kitchen wall.
Nice.
Because I'm done with fenders out there. Like, it's just, who needs them?
Yeah, are you concerned about getting mud or dust on your clothes from biking too hard?
This
No.
year I was thinking like, hey, fenders, cool. I'm coming up in the world. I got a brand new beach cruiser. It's got fenders and it's wet.
And then
And then those fenders stopped my wheels from spinning as the fucking tires
so
built
full
up
of
playa.
playa,
Yep.
they actually stop you from moving.
Yeah, the clay is going to stop you probably
Everything
sooner.
was hard.
Yeah, walking became difficult.
Yeah, I was just thinking like 10 feet was so far away back then.
So, like, just one question about
We're reminiscing.
the waterlogged year. How many times did the lamplighters actually light the lamps?
I think it was all but 2 nights, I believe.
Well, for shame.
Troopers.
What day did it start raining? Thursday?
Thursday.
I think we went out Thursday, maybe. I don't know.
I thought it was Friday.
I like to say that's not my circus. I'm in the kitchen. But I know there were a couple of nights where we didn't light lamps. Reason being the org did not want us to encourage people to go out.
Right.
And so we did not lead the way for them those nights.
I was under the impression that there were certain nights where you didn't light all the lamps.
Well, again,
There was some diehards, right?
yeah, not my circus.
Yeah, I know that there were some people who just could not help but hump lamps around on foot.
Yes, we had some very dedicated, we never fail lamplighters who went out a couple nights and put some lamps up.
So that's like a mental disorder.
For that guy, yeah.
Look, every group needs some dust donkeys. It's just the way dynamics go.
I commend his dedication.
So you run the kitchen at Lamplighter Village.
I do.
What is the name of Lamplighter Camp? Just Lamplighter
Just
Camp?
Lamplighter Village.
You nailed it in one.
I mean, that's hardly trying. It should be the lantern at least. Something cool.
That's not bad.
I mean, as someone who belongs to a camp formerly known as Cafe Village, you could just rename your camp and make it better, and people will go along with it.
I can just turn this compression knob,
Am I shouting again? I'm so excited.
So we've actually had some naming conversations in the last few weeks with friends of ours. Like, what could we call?
Yeah, like
the
joking
village?
around.
Give
Like,
it a name.
what could we call the bar?
And
The bar needs a name.
well, so
The Wick.
that or
The mantle.
Wet your wick.
Dirty Dietz.
Dirty Deeds.
Dietz.
Because the lanterns are Dietz Junior lanterns.
Nice.
That really is a lamplighter-y joke.
Yeah.
And
you
from me.
And a Punisher joke, so named for a reason.
All right.
Oh, that's why.
It's an illness.
Yeah, we named him that because he punishes us with puns.
Oh.
We've got a pair of those.
It is really nice to name things to make it as confusing as possible. You guys are moving this year.
Yeah.
How's that landed with your folks?
I think it's going to be great. A lot of us think it'll be great. We're going to be busier, that's for sure.
I
You're
love
on
the idea of
Esplanade.
you guys being on Esplanade.
fantastic.
I think it's great. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Because
You deserve that.
Yeah.
Sure we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Rangers are there. What do they do?
They don't even have an awesome bar that's open.
Not a damn thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll make us more visible. We'll be able to get volunteers, hopefully a lot easier because they're just going to wander in and be like, hey, what's going on in here?
Can I also pour kerosene into things?
You sure can. 5 o'clock every night. Come on by.
Nice. Yeah. As long as we're talking about the lanterns, let's discuss lantern oil.
All right.
I didn't have anywhere to go beyond that.
Well, we do have a place to go for that.
Thank God.
Oh, is there news?
Does it smell like peppermint this year? Is it tallow?
No, it's olds. That we had a situation, what was it 2015, 2014?
It was a situation, guys.
Where
There's never a situation.
there was a, this is like third hand information, but I've heard it enough that
So it might be true.
it's probably true, that there was a mix up in fuel and that white gas got poured into a handful of lanterns.
God damn it. Was working on your team
my.
too?
Fortunately, somebody smelled the difference before they actually started to light lamps and bring them out.
Thank God for lamp nerds.
Yeah. Because boom. And
Would white gas explode out of a lantern?
It'd certainly burn real hot.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
way
not
too
sure what
hot.
happened because we were, of course, in the kitchen and didn't witness this. So.
I mean, we have a yard. We can figure that out. What kind of lantern should I be getting?
Dietz.
Yeah.
yeah,
Dietz Jr.?
just grab a Dietz lantern, put whatever you want in it, and see what happens.
Cool. Second question, can you get white gas from Amazon?
Probably.
You can probably get white gas at the corner store.
Yep.
Done.
We live in Oakland.
So we're in a room with several kitchen people, the real heart of Burning Man camps.
You want to talk prep areas?
Yep.
What is the worst thing that has happened in your kitchen
Oh, my God. That's none of your business.
that you can tell us about?
I mean, losing all power last year.
I don't think that was the worst thing.
Like injuries, people hating each other, people fucking. Did you have a shower in there that was full of showers?
Well, we have our shower stall is right next to the kitchen on the outside. So
it's
if,
on the outside.
So you,
well,
so you
that's-
can share the gray water tank.
so if you're showering while we're cooking, like we can see you.
But that seems like a bonus.
Yeah. Well, we did have one year where the inspectors came in because we have enough people in our camp that we have to have a permit to serve dinner. And we happened to be thawing out our meat on the counter that day.
Oh, no. You're not supposed to do that.
But how else are you supposed to thaw out 80 pounds of meat?
In a refrigerator on the bottom shelf
But it would take
with a
like
tray
week.
underneath or under a constant stream of running water in a food-safe sink.
Mm-hmm.
You can also do it on the counter under a cardboard box.
I've taken that test a bunch.
Yes. Or in a trailer under a cardboard box. Because like you can't thaw out 80 pounds of meat in a refrigerator in a week. It just doesn't work that way. So the inspector came in and I found out later when I came back to camp that they had pulled aside one of the kitchen crew because I wasn't there at the time. I was out doing Burning Man. And I come back and I'm like, where the fuck is the meat? Like it's gone.
Did they make you throw it all away?
No, but the other person said to me, well, they stood there and said, if you don't put it back in the fridge, we're shutting you down.
Hey, that's better than them shutting you down.
Yeah, I thought it was all gone. And so from then on, we had to get a separate fridge to be the thawing fridge.
That's just not on.
It's on, but we put the meat in there at the beginning of the week. And most of our stuff now we can cook straight from frozen. So it all worked out. And we got another fridge out of the deal. So.
That, I'm really kind of glad that the food inspectors out there are reasonable to the realities that you can't always run meat underwater for hours.
Right, let's just waste all our water.
I mean, listen, these are Nevada health inspectors. They're the people who clear this Caesar's Palace buffet.
Yeah, there's a lot of width between pass and fail. That's why they have a pass and fail system.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like you can also get around that by instead of serving like over 125 people,
119.
you serve multiple meals per day. Because you can only serve a certain number of people per meal service.
Right.
So we're just having 3 concurrent meal services of 90 people each.
And they changed the system this year for getting a permit. It seems much simpler now. I don't really know what's going on.
I won't pay attention.
The application was like 3 questions, and they didn't ask for my $50, so I don't know what's going on.
How many people do you serve?
About 150.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that sounds like 75 twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, D-Day, maybe you should look into what it takes. I'm sure that your setup is compliant.
Oh, it absolutely is, but we don't need it. We don't need people walking into our camp.
Yeah. And honestly, it's more about 90 people. I mean, last year, D-Day opened up the kitchen to feed everyone during the rain. It didn't matter. It's just like eat food.
Yeah, there came a point with us last year where we were like, okay, the refrigerators aren't on anymore. We have to cook everything in them.
But that was
That was a fun night. We were literally in our kitchen, no lights, no electricity, no refrigeration. The floor was like a freaking hockey rink because it was wet and muddy. We're sliding around with knives in our hands, just trying to cook everything.
well,
We got a bunch of rubber flooring. You need
So you need some rubber flooring?
We're actually getting some new ones.
good.
this year.
Yeah. Why not? It's fucking dangerous stepping off that onto anything.
Yes.
that's it. So that was part of the hazard of all of it is our floor is just tarp, which is fine under most situations. But we
Except
have
this one.
right.
Except rain.
But we also have some anti-fatigue mats. So you step on those and
Were they floating?
No, they were cemented down.
Yeah.
So you would try to pull your foot off of them because you're covered in now mud, and the whole thing is just suctioned to your foot.
Oh,
And you
Jesus.
finally pull out of it, and you get your foot off of that, and you set it down, and you're doing a split because now you're fully lubed up and just skirting across.
Like with a pot of beans, like, don't fucking spill it.
Right.
I
Or
recommend
a
you
fish
get
bag.
yourself like a shipping container or a tractor trailer to use as your kitchen. It was amazing being 4 feet above all of the muck, just like completely encased in something that did not leak.
What's the temperature like in there while you're cooking?
It's hot. I'm not going to lie. It's
real hot.
I don't mind it, though.
Yeah.
It probably gets to 115, 125 in there. But then you get to come out and be like,
It's like a sauna.
It kind of is. And since we're not really like frying anything in there, it's not like a greasy sauna.
Yeah.
But you know what would be nice? Not having 7 stairs down with no railing. Those stairs ate the camp this year.
7 stairs of painted wood.
Painted wood. People just kept slipping on them.
Maybe everyone should do some pratfall practice. And when you start to slip, you just end up sliding down it like it's a slide.
Yeah, just turn it into a
Yeah,
slide.
then instead of bruising your hips, you just shatter your coccyx.
I did a bit. That's true. That's why my butt's been hurting so bad these past 10 months.
That's why.
And yours are in like a car barn? Do you have like solid walls? Like what is your structure
Nope,
that you're in?
it's just a shade structure. It's a 20 by 40, just straight up and down rectangle shaped shade structure with black shade cloth over it.
Oh, wow. And like tables and refrigerators and...
Yep, and a sink thing with 3 bins.
Is it a DPW shade structure, like wood construction, or is it?
No, it's no wood. It's just metal.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds nice in a lot of ways. It is fucking hot in your kitchen. It's like you'll come by to say hi, and I'm just like, oh, but now my asshole is so wet.
Stand in the doorway. Your job is to be in the doorway, telling people that you don't know when service is, but they should just hang out with their friends, and they'll find out when it is soon. I put in for a sign this year. The sign says, food prep in progress. Service in 20 minutes. Nice. And the second we start prep, that's just going on the door. And if anyone asks, we just point at the sign.
Nice.
Yeah. For hours.
What has been the most unintentionally hard meal that you've made out there?
It's got to be breakfast, right?
Oh, God.
So we do breakfast for dinner on Fridays. Mm-hmm. And it's not that any of the dishes are hard to cook in and of themselves. It's that we do so many. Mm-hmm. And we also do vegan food and dairy. Like we accommodate everyone's diet. And so...
Are you doing like eggs to order?
Not to order. It's just scrambled eggs. Well, that's the eggs.
Oh, my God. We're fucking cursed with eggs.
I'm doing so fucking good with eggs, man.
Every year we seem to somehow not have enough eggs. I don't know why.
Oh, we've been getting a lot of eggs.
It started one year so we used to do a system where we would have just a giant grocery list and every camper would sign up to bring whatever they could afford to
That
bring.
sounds like chaos.
Yes, indeed it was. And so I would spend my first 2 days on Playa basically just standing in the kitchen checking in groceries, being like, okay, did you bring your stuff? And, blah, blah, blah. These 2 lovely guys who I won't name because I don't want to call them out made an innocent mistake where they had signed up for like all 4 lines of the eggs. When they got to the grocery store, they miscalculated or forgot, and they only bought 25% of what they were supposed to buy.
Oh, no. Well, that is cursed with eggs.
Or 4 lines of 4 cartons each.
So they brought like 4 cartons of eggs for the entire camp.
Yeah, I think we're bringing out like 600 eggs for like 90 meals per service.
You should get carton eggs. It's so much easier.
Sure, I could. But we were getting... I don't remember why we didn't.
I trust Sergio, whatever he's purchasing.
Yeah, I'm certainly not doing the purchasing.
It's because fresh eggs are just better.
They certainly are. And we do a whole bunch of scrambled eggs and scrambled eggs with shit in it. But then I also do eggs to order for people who want that, purely because like I don't want to do service, and I also don't want
the
to
grill
be
isn't in
around,
the kitchen,
and I don't want people appreciating me while they're eating their food because that makes me deeply uncomfortable. So like I will continue serving you.
Now, do you cook for the whole camp at once, or is it more of like a just come and get your food when you want it type of deal?
We have leftovers available if there's one of us in the kitchen to get it for you.
Okay.
But we usually plan like breakfast for lunch or lunch for lunch at like 1:30 or 2, and then dinner at like 5:30 to 6:30.
And how many people are you cooking for all at once?
One less than the
number you need
permit.
to get expanded.
Yeah, we're doing like 105 to 120 meals.
119 and a half.
And not because we have that many people eating at once. We probably have like 95 people eating from us at a time, but we're making extras for folks to bring like back to center camp with them.
Yeah.
Feed overnight volunteers who aren't in our camp.
So then the next year we had a problem with the eggs.
Still talking about eggs.
A question for you. It sounds like absolute insanity to ask individual campers to bring the exact food to make all of those meals. How long were you guys doing that?
I keep putting that out of my mind because I can't.
It's so upsetting. I'm just so upset for you.
Stressing
you
him
don't
out.
deserve that.
Well, when I inherited the kitchen, that's the way it was.
Oh, okay.
And so I inherited the grocery lists and the recipes and all of these things. And I've amended them slightly every year to make it smoother and easier. It wasn't terrible because like I would write out the recipes and then make a separate spreadsheet of like all the ingredients that I would need. People would sign up. I would spend 2 days checking it all in. And it worked out. It was rare for there to be like a problem that we couldn't overcome.
Just the eggs.
That wasn't
Just
egg
the
related.
damn eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the next year, I think we got all.
I think you're letting me know that Lamplighter volunteers are much more responsible than our volunteers, because if we did that, we would just get random crap, like just absolute random crap.
That has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we would have a bunch of anarchists who were like, I saw that you wanted me to get this amount of these 5 different things, but instead, I got you like 100 pounds of apricots. And I have 3 recipes to help you with these apricots.
But I don't know what we're going to do with apricots. Yeah. So last year when we switched to using an outside vendor, thank you, Department of Health of Nevada, for making us do this. Sarcasm.
At the last minute. no
Yeah,
less.
at the last minute. So not at the last minute, but in like May-ish, we had a problem getting our permit because I think there was a new person in charge and they were like, well, you can't do it that way anymore. With the bringing in of food because temperature control. And like, I get it. Like, I don't disagree. But so in like May, we had to pivot from the donation system to having everything brought in by an outside vendor in a refrigerated truck. So I had to redo everything and get an account with the thing. And so we had all the cold stuff brought in. Great, because like we couldn't do it all that soon. So we still had the villagers bring in anything that didn't require refrigeration. So we normally get shelf-stable gnocchi for like, Wednesday night?
Wednesday night.
One of our new campers decided when he was at the grocery store because he
Why not get fresh?
No.
Frozen.
He couldn't find the shelf-stable gnocchi, so rather than go to another store or call me or try to do anything, he decides, I'm going to buy 40 pounds of bow tie pasta.
It's the same thing, right? Is that not going to work?
I'm so fucking angry right now.
There's so much bow tie pasta.
But to make it even better,
So he shows up, I think like 2 days late. Yeah, he shows up with a suitcase in the kitchen. I think it was in the middle of kitchen shift, so we were all busy, like kind of frazzled. And he's like, here's all the pasta. And he opens a suitcase. I'm like, the fuck is that? I'm like, I didn't order bow tie pasta. And I'm like, I can't use this. But credit to the rain.
Did you use it?
Once the shit hit the fan with the rain, we basically said to everybody in the village, like,
They threw it in the mud to soak up
Like,
the water so
yeah.
they could walk right in it.
yeah, mud pasta. So we basically were like, it's free for all in the kitchen now. Please use everything. And like our villagers, all credit to them, stepped up and like
Figured out how to boil pasta.
Did they make a pasta salad?
somebody made macaroni and cheese with leftover cheese and bow tie pasta.
the best. So,
It's such a shitty pasta to put cheese on.
well, somebody tried to basically make like a vodka sauce, but instead of vodka, they used all the Fireball they could find.
Ah!
No, that's
So that is the worst thing that has happened in the
no,
kitchen.
everybody
People loved
fucking
it.
loved it.
People are
Wild.
assholes.
They said it was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
And these
sad
are
I didn't
newbies.
get to try it.
Dickheads.
And newbies, they just came out of
I mean, it's something that gets to be a little bit sweet and a little bit spicy. And when you cook it down, you're going to get caramel notes from the fucking corn syrup that's in there.
And plus, it was Saturday and we were all
And there's
starving.
tomatoes and that's acidic. And like, yeah. And it's hot food and that's delicious. But like, fuck you.
D-Day, don't we have an abandoned bottle
It's
of
like
Fireball?
putting candy. It's like pouring candy syrup into food.
You guys, I don't know if you know this, but this is going to be a tough one for D-Day.
I've been discovering it. I might need more compression, even though I sound weird in my ears.
the idea of being a cook out there is so crazy to me. Like when I first started going, we did those like double bagged, like we'd pre-make meals, freeze them, and then like boil them. And that was fine, except I just never ate. But when I started trying to have to cook out there, I hated every minute of it. I don't know how to do these things well.
So originally we did, you want to tell this story?
I don't even know where you're going.
The burgers.
No idea.
No,
So the reason we have
yes.
Sloppy Joes.
it's my trauma. So 22, we had this 6 foot long, 2.5 foot, 3 foot wide charcoal grill. And it was a bitch to cook with.
Uh-huh.
And in order to change the height of it to fix cooking temp, you would have to take 2 people and slide it off of the base and lift it up the inch.
No.
Because it didn't have a cover, so you couldn't just shut the thing and like let it accumulate heat.
And I love our villagers to death. I really do. But they were bringing burgers that were too good, so they were pre-docked. And the pre-docked burgers just kind of collapse on themselves.
I don't know what docked means.
So if you take a
It's
fork,
when one penis goes into the foreskin of another
Yes.
penis.
and you wrap it over.
Is that pre-docked or just docked? I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, as you're making the flying squirrel flare with your foreskin, I think it's pre-docked.
Yes.
Pre-docked is slang for phimosis.
Right. So when you slap all the burgers with your dick.
We're going down a road here.
Yeah, that's why all of these have fucking explicit markings on them in the podcast app.
So
It's embarrassing.
So docked means just poked with a fork,
So that when it shrinks, it stays flat.
in theory.
Okay.
So burger patties, if they show up docked, they're great on a flat top because they'll shrink up and they'll just kind of stay in one place. If you have really small grates on your grill,
Then they'll fall through them.
And boy, did they.
I spent 5 hours.
I had to literally order him to stop cooking burgers. He was so angry.
I was fury cooking. And
That was the night you guys showed up.
That's right. So, right, this leads into that whole night. I was 100% bullshit and done. I was standing out in the sun, somehow not getting sunburned because this thing was too big to fit in the kitchen. So I have no shade structure. So I'm outside
Well,
with.
plus fire inside.
And
the
like
shade
that
structure.
shouldn't be under a thing.
Right. Yeah, that.
So I'm in the beating hot sun with one of our other campmates, and we're working our asses off to try to get these burgers done. And dealing with the charcoal on that size, a real pain in the ass. By the time we get the burgers out to serve everybody, I'm just fucking done.
And never mind that cooking 300 burgers, like
That's a lot.
You can't hold that well until procession is done. Like by the time we served them, they were like cold or hockey pucks,
Right.
or they
It
were
just
not.
takes so much time to.
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
So, Beth, you showed up at exactly the right moment because I was 100% done, like just incensed. And I hear your voice saying, "Is Punisher around?" I'm like, holy shit, that's.
And I'm like, I know that voice. Who is
That's
that?
my out.
I'm right. I'm sweaty. I'm covered in grease and soot from all the charcoal. I'm just like, something good is about to happen. And that.
So we declared basically at that moment, fuck that grill. We're never using it again. It's a table now.
Yeah, it really is.
Hey,
and
an
we're like,
adjustable height table is
Yeah.
pretty tits.
And then we were like, so what are we going to do for this night? Like it used to be burgers and people kind of like burgers like when they're edible. And so credit to one of our volunteer coordinators. She was like, how about Sloppy Joes? And I was like, oh my God, that's a great, because I wanted something you could cook in a batch.
Yeah.
That isn't going to sit there and turn into rocks while we're waiting to serve it. And so I was like, that would be amazing with Punisher's barbecue sauce.
That is so rad. I didn't know you. I was just like, oh, if we had met in opposite directions, I would have been like wild-eyed and upset. But it's so nice that it was a nice thing to suddenly have friends.
Yes.
Like you're.
Yeah, and then we hung out on the penalty bar for a bit, and then the storm came.
It was that is one of my
storm.
favorite nights.
And you guys had to go off and do your thing, and then we went out on the bikes, and then I got my pony
Right,
name.
everything was fine until the lightning made a full ring around the city and the radio started going off. Like, we gotta go.
I thought for a while that was sextant in the distance because of the the sideways lightning, and I was like, are they even here this year?
We actually went back to your bar after the rain cleared up. Like, we went and did our tier 1 responses, and then like,
and it proved to be nothing. Right?
Yeah.
And then we met back up, and we're like, oh, let's go back and look for our friend's backpack. She left there.
I hope you found it.
He did. Someone very nicely brought it to center camp, and then it was put someplace where nobody knew about it, and no one found it until strike, and then it was all there, everything intact.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Better late than never, I guess.
At least you don't have to get a new ID.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a nice capstone to what otherwise was a pretty challenging burn for our pal.
All right.
You guys.
Sometimes you really earn it.
Yeah, we mooped him that night, and that was not the last time we mooped him.
Oh, no.
He got moved like 3 times.
He got mooped
Yikes.
twice on one trip.
You need to have bracelets like some of us have that says, if found, please return to Lamplighter Village.
That is such a better thing to put on the bracelets than it takes a village.
Yes.
I'm still not wearing one of those fucking rubber bracelets.
I don't think we need them. I think with
We never
150
did.
Look,
We know who belongs in the village, and it's the people who act like they belong there.
the team gets to choose their swag collectively, and if they want silicone cock rings, then you got to oblige them. If they want the fig leaf that, it's for my wrist, you got to oblige them.
Right.
That's why they're so tight.
It's it's not like they're like less expensive if you buy them as cock rings.
Probably more expensive.
Yeah, it's like a 4 or
That's
5
a specialty
times
item right there. I do not actually remember how I first heard about Burning Man. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of always been this thing in my head. So I don't remember where it got into my head. But in 2015, there was a friend from high school, hi Team Az, who was like, I'm going to go to Burning Man. And I'm like, great, we should do that. I'll go with you. And we ended up not going that year. But then in 2016, we were like, okay, we're going to do this. So I was like, okay, I'm going. I invited Punisher. He didn't want to go for various reasons, one of which was
Cool.
So I was like, I'm going to go by myself. And I took my first ever solo trip across the country.
Nice.
I hate flying. Did it anyway. Had a meltdown in Walmart in Reno. I'm like, I'm fucking coming home. This is too hard.
Classic experience.
I was literally in Walmart in Reno at like 3 a.m. trying to buy batteries. I called him and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm going out.
I don't know why there's so many letters of A.
I was like, this feels like hell and Walmart at 2 a.m. in Walmart.
In fairness, that is hell.
It's not great. I'm just going to say, like, if you are in a Walmart past 9:30 at night, that is maybe the loneliest you will ever be.
Oh, no, it got lonelier. So he talked me down, and I went back to my hotel in Reno, slept for like 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was, went back to Walmart at like, I think it was 4 a.m.-ish to get my stupid batteries. And I'm literally in there, and the only other guy in the store at the time that I could find was some dude, and all he was buying was like 1 can of dog food. I'm like, how fucking hungry is your dog?
Oh.
Like, how hungry is your dog that
Look,
you're
man,
here?
the case arrives from Amazon tomorrow.
So I bought my batteries, got my ass to Playa, sat on Gate Road by myself for 9 hours.
No.
Yeah,
That's a work day.
Oh no, the workday hadn't started yet. Get my ass to Lamplighter Village, however I got there, and I had been assigned to kitchen crew that year, not managing, obviously, because this was my first year. Get in there. It was like 2 p.m. maybe by the time I got in. Set up my tent, immediately walk into the kitchen, and worked for 4 hours.
Okay, we need to back up. I think we missed a step.
Yep.
This is your first year at
This
Burning
was
Man.
2016, yeah.
And you had already committed to a volunteer gig. How did you get connected with Lamplighters? And
Well, I almost got connected with you all. So I filled out the volunteer questionnaire. I clicked Center Camp Cafe and Lamplighters, and Snotto got to me first.
there you go.
Good.
That's pretty much how that happened. So that's how I became a Lamplighter, just because Snotto got to me first. Like, I wanted to connect with a camp where I had something to do and could meet, like, have, like, not a support system, but a built-in group of people.
And you wanted to do cooking and work in a kitchen.
Not necessarily do cooking, but once I got hooked up with Lamplighters, then...
That was the thing that was exciting for you to step
Right,
into.
like, through the sign-up process, they're like, here's the jobs that we have, like, which of these interests you? And I was like, oh, kitchen would be fun. I like to cook.
And to your credit, even going into it, you didn't want to just spectate. Like
Right.
you wanted to be involved and actually participate in everything as, a good burner.
Right.
As a person.
That's that's really what I was framing my question up to be is how did you get the notion that volunteering was the way to burn?
I read the website. No, like I was not one of those newbies that's like, I'm coming to Burning Man. Tell me how to do everything.
It turns out there's a lot of really clear information.
Right. It turns out you can like read everything on the internet.
In fact, you can just listen to it. Accuracy Third has done a Virgin Acculturation Guide as well as the Burning Man Survival Guide as podcasts. Check them out here in this feed. Yeah.
Accuracythird.com.
Accuracy3rd@gmail.com.
Would you like to listen to us get steadily drunker while we talk through the entire survival guide?
I'm doing pretty good this afternoon. You guys showed up late.
I'm here to tell the masses that your survival guide is excellent and they should listen to it.
Thank you. I couldn't tell you.
I actually really like the Virgin Acculturation Guide.
Yeah.
I think that is more helpful than the survival guide when it actually comes to, like, read the survival guide.
Yes.
The Acculturation Guide is a bunch of different burners talking about the things that, what it means to them, what things they do out there, and you hear a lot of different voices, and I find that super helpful because there's just so many different ways to burn.
Yeah, no joke. I full-heartedly recommend it to everyone.
A link is in the show notes, it turns out.
So I did my kitchen shift, cut my finger on my first night, which was great.
Like
On an onion?
stitches
On
level,
onions?
or
It was probably onions. Who the hell knows?
It always is.
And then for the rest of the week, of course, pulling my shower bag up on the pulleys that were stuck every time would just rip my finger open.
well, your favorite thing before you shower.
Yeah, I mean, at least it got
Open
clean.
wound.
At least it got clean. And so by Tuesday, I guess, I don't know, from my dedication or stupidity or whatever it was, Snotto pulls me aside and he goes, do you want to manage the kitchen next year?
Oh, no, you competencied your way right into a management position.
And I said to him, what's my last name?
That's an unfair question to ask any manager at Burning. I don't even know your first name.
Yeah, so I didn't do it in 2017. I was like, no, I'm not ready for that. And then
That's smart. What are
Well,
you?
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to fuck it up. I'm not capable of that.
God, that is the opposite of the sophomore swank.
Yeah. So I worked kitchen in 2017, and then in 2018, there I am.
Nice.
And you know what? It taught me what I can do. I didn't. I was scared. I was nervous.
it's a lot of planning, and it's a lot of responsibility.
You got
for a
to
lot of
not
people.
poison anybody every single service.
Yep. Knock on wood. I haven't killed anybody yet.
Not once, as far as
Not that
can
I
tell.
know of.
Yeah. I've definitely given myself food poisoning, but that's from ordering from KFC.
Sure.
Come at me, KFC. I stand by that shit.
Is it like you love it and you want to keep doing it? Or are you training someone up to replace you? Like, where are you in the, like, have you found your spot and want to keep it? Or,
I can't let the next victim know who they are.
oh, it's a plot who is going to replace you. That's the best way to get a successor.
Yeah, you're just a
Trick them
sensei.
into it.
I have a very capable crew of 15 or so people. Half of them do cooking, like prep and cooking.
Right.
The other half do service and cleanup. Almost all of them, I would happily let them take over.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
And there are nights where I'm like, I'm going to fuck off and go to Burning Man. Can you be my manager tonight? And like, I've done that. Like there was one year where I went and did a perimeter, which was awesome. My first time I did a perimeter. Why are you laughing at me?
I love the like you're I'm gonna fuck off and go to Burning Man. The first thing you say is I'm gonna go do the most stressful volunteer
No,
thing.
it wasn't.
We're going to shift.
Well, it's so funny enough.
I did the perimeter for Space Cats. It was small, it was quick, so it was nice.
But so she fucks off to do Space Cat's perimeter.
Left him in charge.
I'm taking over, right?
Guess what night it was? Egg night.
Guess what we had a problem
I was going to
with.
guess gnocchi.
Guess what we had a problem with? The fucking eggs. But so it was surmountable. We thought all of the cartons of eggs had been taken out of the fridge and ready to be prepped and cooked and all of that.
Right, we at least had all the cartons this year.
And we get to service and we're like, that doesn't look like quite enough eggs. And I'm just kind of wrapping up and finishing up. And for whatever reason, procession happened really efficiently and came in like 30 minutes early.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
I'm-
Snotto comes in. He's like, everyone's back. And Jason's like, well,
fuck you.
dinner's
No,
not
no,
ready.
Okay, they gotta wait.
We haven't thinned out the eggs with enough ketchup yet.
Right. So we figure out, okay, that this is definitely not enough eggs. And we checked off the cartons as they came in, so they have to be here somewhere. And shout out to Chicken, who was like...
Chicken who's been fucking the eggs.
Fitting.
She's going to kill you now.
That's fine.
Sorry, I imagined that Chicken was a dude. I'm sorry, Chicken. That was sexist of me.
Nope, Chicken is a woman.
Ladies can be gross with their genitals, too.
Yeah, but I don't want to assume it. I mean, think about how scraggly dude Chicken is and what he's doing to those eggs. Lady Chicken, that's not funny. That's just hot. Please continue.
So she stayed behind and was like, no, you're not going to deal with like finding all of the rest of the cartons of eggs and cooking them on your own. So she bailed my ass out my first night managing kitchen because you were like, oh, you're capable. You can take care of this. Turns out, not so much.
Turns out you're not capable of finding eggs.
Right. The fucking eggs. So, yeah, we found the rest of the eggs and cooked them in a mad dash and eventually got them out to service. But holy shit.
Nevada Department of Health, they were in a
They
refrigerator.
were. Nice. And I don't know how they were missed. We don't have many cartons of things.
Yeah, well,
You're headed back this year for same role.
yep.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you cooking something new this year that you're excited about?
We're sticking with the same menu as last year because it's just easier to plan that way. We generally stick to the same menu. I change up little things here and there based on feedback of like things that people didn't like or things that didn't cook well, or we have a few small changes, but it's basically the same menu.
He picked it up with no handoff and has been going absolutely ham on the menu and on refurbishing the kitchen.
Someday I will retire and probably have a real kitchen for real. But until then, like I get to do a bunch of stuff with my friend who I think is probably more talented than me.
When you say real kitchen, do you mean you're going to like open a restaurant?
Or a series of food
food
trucks
truck at our
in front of
retirement
our
home.
compound.
Yeah.
I will legitimately sell food again in a way that I don't find nearly as fun as giving away like a ton of food to my friends. Like everyone has still paid in one way or another. Like people pay their taxes for the kitchen ahead of time. They're not paying me on this day. They are certainly not fucking tipping people, which I understand it's important under capitalism, but like I find it so offensive to grade somebody's worth of their work as your ability to eat as a human being.
Right.
But for 1 week a year, we get to make like as much complicated shit as quickly as possible.
It's so
delightful.
cute. It's so cute. He's so happy.
I
Like,
used to have to run like 165 to 180 people a year, and now I don't have to anymore. I can cook food.
just tinkering away, cutting holes in the side of the kitchen, installing all kinds of new shelves.
I have to do almost no plumbing this year. Do you know how great that feels?
You fixed all the plumbing.
For the most part, I have to return that hose that I promised I would return at the end of that year to plumbing.
Your first year out, what was it that stuck with you that made you know that you were going to have to keep doing this thing?
Just learning new things that I could do, like that my limit wasn't what I thought my limit was.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
So your Burning Man experience was
growth, I guess.
transformative?
Yeah, transformative, you might say. Like I fully went out there the first year thinking this is a once in a lifetime thing. I'm going to do this one and done. I'll never see any of these people again. But yeah, it was like pushed my limits, and I was like, okay, I can push myself past these limits that I thought was as far as I was going to go.
What kind of limits did you blow out?
Well, not the first year, but after a couple years, just knowing that I could actually like lead a crew, and like I never thought anybody would listen to me.
So it's really
I still don't think they really do.
it's largely related to your volunteer experience.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It is a really cool opportunity to like lead crews and organize things, because honestly, that's what most of the work is. And anyone who is willing to step into that, there's definitely a space for you.
Yeah, and like my first year when I was asked to run the kitchen the next year, I was like, I can't fucking do that. Like I'm not capable of that. And so that's why I said no. And then after another year, I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. But bottom line, I couldn't do it without all my crew. They're great. Like,
Yeah, it sounds like you're
that's-
good at leadership.
That's what leadership and management is.
Yeah.
Is recognizing that like somebody has to be a funnel for information in certain ways, and someone has to have certain organizational competencies. But like being a manager doesn't mean you're important than everyone there. Like,
No.
everyone is doing all of the work. Because there is management doesn't mean there has to be hierarchy.
Right, like I organize and I make lists and charts and I write out recipes, but on Playa, they're doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not really working. I'm just sort of like watching, you know?
If I can interject, as someone that does some of the cooking, you do it to such a degree that any one of us can walk in and look at our stations and see exactly what we have to do, and it's perfect.
That's rad.
Like the degree to which the kitchen is set up and organized before anybody even gets there, and I get to see how this all happens behind the curtain, is astounding. There is an inordinate amount of work that goes into trying to feed well over 100 people 6 different meals, and
7.
One meal a day.
Yep. And then we do a leftovers brunch on Sunday, so 8, I guess.
We do soup on Sunday.
Yeah. We basically take whatever's left over and whoever wants to come and create something out of it. Like
That's
whatever,
smart.
Whatever we
That's
can come up
fun.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit what the kitchen's like after that?
Because by then it's like we just need to get rid of it so we don't have to drag it to compost.
That's fucking brilliant.
And like sometimes we'll have fresh food that hasn't been cooked, or we'll make like quick pickles or something like that. Or sometimes it's just heat up the beans, you know?
So you discovered within yourself a chef de cuisine.
I guess, yeah. Like I've always loved cooking, but not to a degree of like I should be in charge of things. Like, no.
this is the perfect intersection of 2 of your loves, cooking and spreadsheets.
Yes.
People keep inviting me to new platforms, and it's just like, I don't have to learn a platform. We already have a spreadsheet with all of this
Yeah.
information.
Like I have a binder with everything in it, and like I could just hand you the binder, and you could just.
We
take
don't need
over.
a database. I can just search for the person I'm looking for.
Yeah, I'm not type A at all. And it's still not perfect. Like every year, I change little things here and there to help smooth it out or clarify what the hell
But
I
it's
was
still
trying
not
to say.
perfect, Beth. Fix
Yeah,
things.
yeah. Or like clarify what I was trying to say on like line 3 of the recipe. That somebody was like, "What the fuck does that even mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's what I meant to write."
that is so great.
But like, it's gotten to the point where some of our friends at home have asked me to cater their wedding in October.
Are you going to do it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
fuck
great.
Yeah.
But again, it's not just me. It's me and another of our friend. We're doing it together.
You can't cut that much fruit by yourself.
Yeah, like 7 years ago, did I think that I could cater a fucking wedding? No.
Like the first time I did something like that, I was really freaked out by the math.
Yes.
But then I checked the math and I was like, well, but that's how you make like 45 fucking meals.
Yeah, I check my math so much. I'll write out a recipe and then I put it into an Excel spreadsheet. And then I use the Excel spreadsheet to like multiply it by 160.
Yep.
because
how you do it.
Because ask him if I do math, I get it wrong.
and then add 5% to that, because why wouldn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I don't do math unless it's on a spreadsheet because I suck at math.
Look, if robots want there to just be one answer for things, that's fine, but they have to help us get there.
The spreadsheet is just a big calculator with a lot more fields.
Yep. Yep.
This is all very cool. Our listeners love it when we talk about spreadsheets.
Our listeners need to love it when we talk about spreadsheets because, God damn it, Burning Man is spreadsheet.
It's why we're fucking here.
Are y'all right with that?
Look
Is
at
that
the city.
okay?
It looks like a spreadsheet. It's a curved
Kinda does.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
If not spreadsheet, why spreadsheet shaped?
Is that a swag already? That should be a swag.
We need to make
Let's make that
stickers that
swag.
say
Great.
Burning Man is a spreadsheet.
So tell us about flatbread.
This was like, I think after the storm had subsided enough that people could like walk around camp.
Saturday, I think.
Yeah, we were in the kitchen doing something, I don't know, prepping something for later.
Sex stuff.
Risking your lives sliding around.
Sliding
with
around,
knives.
having a sword fight. And one of our, I think, newer first-year villagers who may or may not be coming back, I have no idea, not my circus. He comes in and he has this flatbread that he wants to cook. And I think when he purchased it, he thought it was just heated up, like already cooked kind of thing. So when he opened it, he realized he actually had to cook it. So he fires up the flat top, which he did with great difficulty. I don't know why he couldn't just turn the thing on. So this guy is realizing, oh crap, I have to cook this bread. It's not actually cooked, it's just dough. So he plops it onto the grill. Fine. And now he's looking for a rolling pin
To roll it
to
on
just,
the grill?
to just flatten it out a little. We don't have a rolling pin, like whatever.
Right.
He picks up the nearest metal object that he can find that is round to roll this out on the grill, which is on. What do you think he picked up?
I don't want to hear fire extinguisher.
You are correct, sir.
Damn it. Holy fucking shit.
No.
I also would have accepted propane tank. What is connected to it with this hose?
We're both like,
Oh, shit.
Oh, you
we're
piece
like,
of
what the
shit.
fuck are you doing? He goes, but it's round. And
It's a middle cylinder. It's pressurized.
we're like, it's fire.
Are you allowed to scream, you piece of shit, at your campers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Wow.
Even
And then
regardless, because you want to assume that a fire extinguisher can take some heat.
Yeah.
It's filthy.
It was definitely filthy.
It's absolutely filthy, but like I don't think it can take much more than 140, 155 degrees. Like they're not supposed to be that hot.
They're designed to be used in a fire.
They are designed to be used before a fire.
or
outside of a
next
fire.
to a fire, not on top of it.
They're designed to be used by a human being who is not on fire.
I'm just saying I would be surprised if a fire extinguisher doesn't have a pretty high thermal safety
Yeah.
rating.
yeah. And
So
that is fucking dumb as
This
shit.
is dumb as shit.
I don't
It's
even.
like
I'm
absolute-
not sure that he knew what it was because he was from another country. I don't know what the fuck their fire
Oh,
extinguishers
they
look
have
like.
fire extinguishers in other countries. They're all red.
Maybe they look different. I
No,
don't know.
no, it's one of those things where like dangerous stuff is always red.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and they look like fire extinguishers.
No. In
He
our country, they are
protested-
checked black and white. Always checked black and white. Why would something not be a safety thing if it were checked black and white?
So he protested so much that he wanted to use this round object to flatten out his bread that we basically had to be like, put it fucking down or get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, that's exactly the sort of shit I'm not dealing with in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, that stretch.
No, I have to use this dumb thing.
Right. That stretch.
I thought of it once.
Never mind that it's flatbread. Just like make believe it's a pizza crust and do the thing with your hands.
Just fucking mash it once.
Right. Get a spatula.
Yeah, who
Something
gives a
that's
shit?
not-
Not you.
Yep.
Yep.
So by the time his bread was cooked, it was full of playa dust and maybe not all the way cooked.
It's
and-
probably delicious.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. But you can't serve that to someone.
Well, it was his own. This was not for serving. This
Right.
was his own shit. So
But they're doing it in your kitchen, so they kind of have to do it right and well.
Was that the same day we got inspected?
I don't know.
Just this guy with his dick out cooking flatbread.
Do you guys
With a fire extinguisher.
do you guys get inspected every year? Is that part of the deal?
Most years we have.
Okay.
God
There's been a
forbid.
couple where they just don't show up or.
Yeah.
But yeah, they came last year. I think they came last year after the rains. But yeah, that's probably the most dangerous thing we've ever witnessed in our kitchen.
Did you guys meet out there?
No.
No. She said she invited him.
Oh,
We met in high school
no way.
in French class.
In 1992.
I was then.
What were you, 2 then?
Shit, no. No, I was 13.
All right.
I was just starting to like whatever the opposite of figuring stuff out is, but like being very adamant about it.
You started Burning Man at 13?
No, I didn't find out about Burning Man.
Contrarian.
I've just been like a real competent kind of asshole of a grandpa for most of my life.
So you went first and then invited him out?
Well, I mean, I didn't invite him. He was always welcome to come. He chose not to come the first year. I'll let you give your reasons why.
Between health issues and not knowing the Porto situation and still having one cat that was 3 months away from shuffling off the mortal coil.
Oh yeah, that story.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretend you listened to that episode.
The first two excuses don't hold up on their own, but in support of the final excuse, it's fine.
So he watched the live stream a lot while I was away. And then when I came home and reported back the Porto situation for staff camps, we'll leave it at that. He was like,
It's
oh,
better.
It is.
we don't want to advertise that to the world.
Yeah, there's only 300 people using 3 porta potties. Like, in comparison, it's pretty great. 2 of them are fine at any given time.
So he was like, oh, that's the situation. I'm coming next year.
This is the second couple where one person went and the other one watched the live stream. That live stream is just full of like one half of a couple being like, but could I? Should I?
So,
Like,
well, so that's kind of what sort of sold me on it. Like I'm watching this whole thing. I'm like, it's a bunch of fucking whack jobs out in the desert. I love
Hey.
it. No, it's look, my kind of whack jobs. Let's not skip over that. And I'm like, this thing looks amazing, but maybe it's not my thing. Maybe I'm not hardcore enough. Blah 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 blah. and I watched the temple fall, and the stream.
You were like, I could jump over that.
Right. The stream ends, and I just had this incredible, profound sadness that it was over, and I wasn't even there. And that was the moment where I was like, okay, maybe this really is a thing for me.
It's never really over. It lives.
Which
in you.
temple was it?
2016.
It was the pagoda.
Also, it's halves of couples and mothers. My mom always writes me every year being like, I'm checking out the live stream. Like,
Wow.
There was a perfect mom story from this year. So everything goes to shit. The rains hit, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, Ebola and space lasers, great!" But one of our
Cannibals.
volunteer coordinators, she says she got a message from her mom that Chris Rock escaped with some guy named Dildo.
Fucking
Diplo
great.
mom. but for all we know, there could have been a guy named Dildo on the truck.
Absolutely.
No, that mom typed in Diplo, and her autocorrect follows her so specifically.
Yes.
It once again sent the dildo she intended to type.
Oh boy.
That's great.
Yeah. Because that's exactly what you would expect. Not just some guy named Dildo, because of course there is. And surely, like, apart from Dildo Akbar, presumably there's dozens of guys out there just named Dildo.
Oh yeah, I'm
Sure.
sure.
And some not guys named Dildo.
Absolutely.
Probably more guys than not guys, Beth. Like guys,
You would think, but-
they kind of have a handle on everything, if you haven't noticed. The guys are winning.
Boo, boo.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's fair. I just call it as I see them. This is just dispassionate analysis.
Yep.
Do you,
Balls and strikes, you know.
do you think that dildos usually have handles?
I'm
If you're
sure some
lucky.
do.
Yeah.
Some.
The nice ones.
Let's Google it. Let's find it.
Yeah. Let's Google it.
Fender Bender, have you ever been, other than your finger cut, have you ever been injured or witnessed other injuries out on Playa?
Oh, we've had some good ones in our village.
Yes.
Hey.
Tell us about your injuries.
So our first injury story involves Thunderdome
Oh, my naming?
and him getting to name someone their playa name.
Ooh.
This is a good story.
That's the recap of 2 Thads enter, 1 Thad leaves in Thunderdome.
Oh, you've told this story.
Yeah, and we get lost trying to get out to Thunderdome because it had moved. We find out that we missed that on Thad Violence in Thunderdome.
You're telling the story.
They're going to have to go back to that episode if they want to hear this
Yeah.
story.
Right.
Fender Bender, you tell the story.
Okay, so we're going out to Thunderdome. So we had 2 Thads in camp, both like real name Thad, and they were fighting. What was it? They were fighting. See, I'm not good at telling the story.
It was between, and I've been corrected by Scully, Maxi Thad and Thad Pawn.
So they were deciding who gets to keep the playa name Thad. So they're like, let's fight it out in Thunderdome.
And such a terrible name to fight over.
I mean, hey, you know.
It was their playa names?
Well, their real names are Thad.
Their real
and
names.
They added on Thad
Gotcha.
Pawn and
Maxi Thad.
Maxi Thad. So they go to Thunderdome to fight it out to see who gets to keep the name. And the rest of the camp was like, okay, we're going to go watch this fight because that's what you do. So we all hop on Lucy, which is our beloved truck that runs most of the time. And we're driving to the right side of Playa, like the low number side, where the Thunderdome usually is. Except that year they had moved it to the left side. So we get over where we think we're going and we're like, fuck, Thunderdome's not here. Turn around, go back to the other side. We pull up to Thunderdome like the moment this fight is finishing. Like, we missed it. So this is when the Thads had finished and decided who won. Thunderdome was about to shut down. There's no line. One of our campmates comes running out and is like, they need another girl for the last fight. There's a girl waiting to fight.
The only reason I'm interjecting is I got to watch this in real time. No, it's Thunderdome to hold my stuff.
Yeah. In a span of 5 seconds, I was like, no, I don't want to.
To be fair, I think that would have got me too.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I
I'm
will
like,
kill.
yeah. And I'm like, I'm never getting this opportunity again.
Right, and like you are getting the direct invitation.
Haven't I at Burning Man? Ought I not to hit in face?
Yes.
I wouldn't line up for it, but you're right. That is tempting.
Right. To not have to wait in line.
If it was
Just
like
go
a
do the thing.
3-person line, I would line up
And
for it.
I knew my opponent.
Oh no,
It was
that's
even
perfect.
better.
It was another campmate. So I'm like, take my earrings, take my shit, take all my stuff. So I give him all my stuff. And me and my campmate are like, okay, don't punch each other in the face. No kicking.
I will destroy you.
We're like, let's be nice to each other. We're just going to have fun.
Oh, you ain't kicking in the face?
So if you go back to the video,
There's a video.
Can you put it on YouTube and give us the link
it's on
to YouTube?
it's on
Thank
YouTube.
Christ.
Fuck yeah.
So
Content, people.
there are 3 angles of video because her boyfriend at the time, plus Punisher, plus another guy had like climbed onto various places on the Thunderdome to get angles of this. So there's some pretty good video.
And they were all shouting, "Woo!"
I don't recall kicking her.
But you're in a fucking fight, right?
Yeah.
Right. And we were having so much fun. Like, it was the funnest thing ever. She had the biggest bruise on her leg the next day, and I felt so bad. However, if you go back to the tape, there's a point where she punches me in the head. And she doesn't remember doing that either, but it was a great punch.
Sure.
Chemicals are wild. There's so many ways to get high, you guys.
Yeah, it was super fun. And, like, we didn't get hurt. It was just bruising. But, yeah, that was my Thunderdome fight.
Yeah, that's like one of the great things about Thunderdome fighting is you're swinging from fucking bungees. You're almost never planted on the floor. You could hit somebody like full force, and you're not going to hit them very hard. It's just like a.
It's
like
very
a
easy
swat.
to miss.
Uh-huh.
And so they're super nice. Like, the people in there that, like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
this
they
is
are.
their
They'd have
love
to be.
language.
they
They're
look
so sweet.
They look so mean, and they're God, like, God
No, they
bless
look
them.
so hot and bad smelling.
You
Wait, is there
know,
a word for bad smelling?
It's your kink. I
Burning
understand
Man.
hot, mean, and bad smelling is what D-Day's into.
But like they
doesn't have to be
stay in
bad smelling.
character the whole time. Like, the show they put on is incredible. But when they pull you up, like when they pull you separated, they like get up in your face and they like wrap your legs around the other person so that you don't like bounce off, and make sure you connect to them. And they like tell you like how to make sure you're not just constantly bouncing off of each other. And they're awesome.
If your teeth get near her nose, bite her nose.
I will say not one moment of it felt violent because we were just having fun.
Oh yeah, you're totally convincing me, and I knew
That's
that
why I was so bad at wrestling in high school.
Do you want to fight me?
Fuck yeah, you heard it here first. Fender Bender versus Birth. Your birth.
one of our specific friends got really, really hurt at Thunderdome.
Neurodivergent.
But not from fighting, from falling off of it.
Oh,
Which is the
Oh,
primary
yeah.
source of injury.
Yeah.
depending how high up you up, that could be
Yeah,
bad.
very, very few people
was
get
bad.
injured in the fights.
Yeah.
But people fall off.
Some people get really hurt in the fights.
Oh, she's a great person. Broke her back.
Yikes.
That now takes the worst injury credit.
Well, yeah, we were going for worst injury. So the bruise that I gave to our campmate was not an injury.
It
No,
sounds
that's
really
just,
bad. Sounds really, really bad.
Well, no, I was talking about the broken finger that resulted from the thad on thad violence.
So in the Thunderdome?
Yes.
Ooh.
You can tell that story quickly again, and then we'll get to the real injury that happened last year.
We get back to camp. We're down one Thad. We show up in the bar the next morning, and the missing Thad has returned triumphantly from Rampart, where he had broken his finger. So he's taped up behind the bar with finger guns, because that's how his hand is taped up. And pew pew. And now he's finger bang. And that,
Nice.
That's not bad.
So I take it he was the losing Thad.
Actually, I think he won, didn't he?
No.
I don't know who won
Well,
that fight.
No, but other Thad, definitely the worst injury from last
See,
year.
that was payback for the Thunderdome. So the other Thad last year,
Is this Maxi Thad? Which is
this
a
is
great
Maxi
name.
Thad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a good name.
Yep.
If you're gonna Thad, you might as well.
You might as well
Maxi
I
Thad.
find it offensive. They should change their name because I said.
So we were not present for this injury, but he was riding his bike along in flip-flops.
Don't, guys. Bikes are still bikes. Use your goddamn shoes.
I'm just going to say that chains and sprockets do a very specific thing.
Yeah. And I don't know how it happened.
I do.
Do you know more detail than I do?
My understanding is that he started to wobble and went to dump the bike and unzipped his foot.
Like on the chain.
Yeah. That's what gets you.
So, yeah.
Wear shoes, you dirty hippies.
Or barefoot.
No.
No, barefoot. No, look,
So if you
look, barefoot is fine.
better
because your
barefoot than
foot-
flip-flops.
Your foot is not going to get bound up in the
Honest-
chain.
honest to
your
God.
flip flop will get bound under the chain and
So-
feed your foot in.
I mean, that's not what happened to Billy Thompson. but
To be
fine.
fair, if you're wearing flip flops on playa, just take them off.
yeah.
Yeah, what
So
are
he-
you protecting? The bottoms of your feet?
Put them under your ass. It'll help with your horrible seat.
So he, of course, went to Rampart and got like 754 stitches. No, I don't know. It wasn't. It was a lot.
But
it was
did
a
get
lot.
a bunch of stitches.
That's more stitches than I've ever had, and I've had hundreds.
And if you had come to Lamplighter Village Lounge at all last year, there was a flip-flop like stuck up on the thing. A bloody flip-flop that was just displayed up on the bar. That was his. Yep.
I mean, that's
Classic.
That's your fucking logo this year, or you're cowards.
Horrifying.
Yeah, if you guys approve that, I will happily draw that for you.
Right.
That's fucking
So that's.
awesome.
I think that's the worst injury I've heard of that has happened during our time.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
He
pretty
was in
horrible.
like a foot.
I
cast.
can't believe it's something that like I've heard about twice in the past 6 months and never before that for 20 years.
And like he had to go back to Rampart like during the rains for checks and make sure that he wasn't.
yeah.
Like they had to come and like
Yeah, your
pick him
fucking
up.
foot will rot off.
Yeah, they had to come and like pick him up in a 4x4 just so they could like get him there. It was, but hey, credit to him. He's fine.
For keeping his foot.
He didn't.
A lot of soldiers in World War I were not as lucky.
Like, hey, he didn't go home. He could have just been like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
It really it sounds like the right Chad. Ooh.
Oh, the right that's a fucking
I know.
Freudian slip, isn't it?
Yeesh.
Yeah,
It
the
really
right
looks
Chad won this time. No, Rex, I think you're right. I think now is the time to help lead our listeners a little bit farther up their power levels, if you know what I mean. You guys down with Fash? Yeah, you're down with Fash. I can fucking see it in your eyes. Good deal. All right, Beth, you want to say anything about controlling others through violence? We'll talk later.
That is horrible. And then
Up top.
but like he could have chosen to leave, but at some point he couldn't have chosen to leave.
This is true.
I didn't like that's the thing I didn't see at all. I knew that there were vehicles up and moving, but we didn't see them.
Oh, we had one.
Oh yeah?
It was not one of us, but just outside the front door of our lounge, there was someone who decided on, I don't know, Friday night, Saturday morning to try to drive their Prius out while it was raining.
Nice. Oh. My best photo from last year was either I think it was a Prius that was like up to the fucking walls of the car, deep in the mud.
That's what happened to this one. It was up to
Might be
like
the
the
same
middle
one.
of the grill.
Yeah, let's everybody look at their fucking Prius.
And like people were advising this
It wasn't
person,
a lamplighter, but it was someone starting out from
somebody that either had made it that far before they got stuck or started out nearby, I'm not really sure, dug it in like up to the grill and kept trying to like back out and then go forward and back out. And of course, this is just making it worse.
digging it a hole.
And eventually, I'm told, this is secondhand information, that the person eventually decided, I'm just going to camp here until the ground dries. And I think people started decorating it and like...
So my understanding and unreliable narrator, the owner of said Prius apparently decided to turn it into art because they knew
Yeah,
they
that's
weren't
what I
getting
say
out.
when
Because
they
what
really
the fuck are you
up.
going to do?
Right.
Yeah.
You can't, there's nothing else.
Yeah, you might hate it, but you still have to play along. What are you going to do? Admit vulnerability in front of your friends?
So you got stuck. How did your camp handle it? Was everyone in good spirits?
Yeah, we did pretty well. Everybody just kind of hung out in the lounge and drank and ate all the food. And we
Had a fun time with each other?
we were trading liquor with the camps next door and helping each other out. And
Yeah, did you make new camp friends?
we spent a lot of time in the trailer, frankly, because it was raining and I was running out of clothes. And every time you have to go to the Porto, it's like a fucking ordeal with like changing your shoes and washing your hands. And
Well, you ought to wash your hands, but instead of changing your shoes, might I recommend 2 construction bags and suspenders?
suspenders.
Yeah, it is the fucking best.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about the socks. Like the playa doesn't stick to socks. I don't know why.
Because it's fabric and it keeps shifting.
I don't know.
But I mean, doesn't our skin keep doing that? Too?
I was cheap
It's
socks
the reason why
for a
some religious sects have to fuck through a sheet instead of being able to fuck each other directly. It has something to do with how fabric is woven.
Silence.
Prove me wrong.
I will say, as a camp, we really banded together, and I don't think there's a single one of us that has a real complaint about any of the weather. Like, yeah, it sucked and it kind of killed our burn for a couple days, but what else are we going to do? We're just going to sit there, wait it out, and go out and have a good time when we can.
Yeah.
Did you get to do the late burn?
Yes.
Oh yeah, we stayed until everything was gone.
Nice. That was one of the most beautiful burns.
That was
That
for
was
us.
an incredible burn.
It was awesome.
We haven't had a burn for us in a really long time.
The fireworks show this year was
it was
incredible.
Legendary.
surreal.
Yeah.
I was just like, I didn't know fireworks could do this.
Yeah, it was awesome. And like, it was also strange because there were so few people there.
Yeah, everyone had a front row seat.
Like, yeah, it was like there was no inner circle.
And like 20 feet between you and the next person there, and then someone pulls their car in between you and you're just like,
Yeah.
what? Why?
We
Why
literally
right next
walked
to us?
up and sat in like the fourth row. Like that doesn't happen.
We were comfortably in the back, and there were lines of sight straight to the man with no people in front of me. And
Yeah.
it was like,
It was
how can that be?
we went on an art car that could pull away after it was done.
God, what are we going to do this year?
Not watch it like we normally do.
Inner circle pass.
Yeah. Have you ever done
Whatever.
that?
A couple
No.
times.
Once
I did it once. I won't do it again.
It's too hot.
It's
kind
not
of-
too hot. You're just too stuck. Like you can't go.
I had to pee into
Yes.
a jug
That.
like in front of hundreds of people. Like, and I didn't have one of the cup things, so I was just peeing all over my hand.
You're just
and all
peeing
over
into her hand and trying to throw it into the cup.
and then I taking the pee covered bottle and putting it in my backpack and being like, "Yay, inner circle."
I think that's fair.
Yay!
to
I
leave
didn't
there.
poop.
You just,
The way that the
there's excellent
appreciations were handed out to me from my former role was like me being told at the last minute that I could go see the man burn from the inner circle if I wish to, but like not my wife. We didn't
Ooh.
think about you wanting to go do that with your wife. So like, but you could go see it and you could meet her after. It's like, do you not know how relationships work?
It was really awesome to do, and I'm glad they picked us. We did it together. We actually did Luminiferous that year, and that's how we got into the inner circle. But yeah, you're just
Luminiferous.
what's Luminiferous?
I don't know the
So,
names of things or
So-
who people are or what happens out there.
Do you know that very rickety ass cauldron type cart that sits outside the fire conclave all week?
Yes.
That's-
Yes, I do.
that's the Luminiferous.
That's the thing that they light the stuff off of and then walk up the procession.
Right, and the Lamplighters are the ones who bring it.
Mm-hmm.
And so every year, I think 8 of us are selected to be those
Oh.
ushers.
And you got to do that. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, it was very cool. And so once you do that, like you hand off the flame to the fire spinners, and then you park the cart over there,
and then sit in the inner circle
and then you sit there and don't fucking move.
And then it's hot.
and
yeah.
pee in front of a bunch of people.
Potentially, yep. I had my jar ready to go. And it was awesome, but you feel so stuck because you can't go anywhere. And it's just more fun to be with your camp and do the party thing, you know?
And that was Fender Bender. Fender Bender, thank you. And also the Lamplighters, thank you. And also Punisher, thank you. I love what you do for our city and what you have just so recently done for our podcast. Okay, so today is one of those rare occasions where all three of us are introing and outroing the episode, and all three of us were in the room with our interviewees. Do you remember how insane the Lamplighter kitchen is and how much it stresses me out to think about running my kitchen the way that they run their kitchen?
Yes, we noticed your continuous judginess of their situation.
Okay, so
How could we not?
do you remember them having to deal with a lamplighter making flatbread on their griddle, trying to roll it out with a fire extinguisher?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do recall. That's hard to
We
forget.
were all traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me feel a lot safer in my camp.
My opinion was that fire extinguishers aren't safe over 145, 155 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rex's opinion was that fire extinguishers, they're meant to be used in fires. So Rex thought their heat tolerance would be considerably higher than that. So who was wronger? I did some research today, and I will now quote from fire extinguisher manufacturers Kitty and AAA Fire Protection. Temperatures above 120 Fahrenheit can shorten the extinguisher's lifespan and cause the elastomeric seals to deteriorate. Fire extinguishers should also be kept away from sources of high heat, like stoves.
Oh, hey.
So that's pretty clear.
Yeah. I just thought it was gross and reckless, but it was also dangerous.
I mean, that's less clear, I think, than you think. I think that warning has to do with the long-term utility and extensive safety of a fire extinguisher. Like it says, the heat will break down the seals, and then your fire extinguisher might fail upon use.
Not upon use. They will leak propellant.
What I'm talking about is a catastrophic failure. Like I don't think that a fire extinguisher is
Gonna blow up.
Yeah, I think it is designed to be able to deal with a sudden and rapid increase in temperature without catastrophically rupturing.
Unlike propane tanks or nitrous canisters.
Right. I think what they're talking about is if you want your fire extinguisher to be useful, keep it somewhere cool, which is a different thing entirely.
I am going to say that if their warning is at 120 degrees, they probably don't want you rolling it around on something that's closer to 300 or 350 degrees.
We can all agree it's a terrible idea.
That is probably enough to at least warp or ripple in some way the elastomeric seals that are in there. And what you don't want is all of that yellow powdered shit suddenly leaking out onto the flatbread.
No. None of us think that this person should be doing that.
No one said yes to that
Oh,
situation.
the point of this for the listeners, don't fucking do that. All right?
Guys, we've all got liquor bottles around. Liquor bottles are round and made of glass.
Just burn yourself on glass. It'll be fine.
Imagine how few times last year you ate flatbread and understand this year, like, you have the chance to eat some fucking flatbread. Even if it's not that flat, it's a win. Take that win.
Yeah.
We call it low bread. Well,
if you listeners are not familiar with the Lamplighter camp or their bar or their penalty bar, your job this year, if you are going to Playa, is to find the Lamplighter bar.
On Esplanade.
On Esplanade. You can go in there whether they're open or closed. I have. No one has ever gotten me in trouble, but I have been penalized, it turned out. Took us years to realize that we had been so effectively penalized.
Oh, we were having a blast.
We were, but we were absolutely led to the penalty bar as a penalty, and
it's right there in the name.
Yep. But we didn't get it. We're too important to be penalized.
I knew what was happening.
Well, I often don't. But I am having a great time. And if you're going to Playa this year, you should find us having a great time at our listener appreciation party. Our listener appreciation party, entirely not planned, so we're going to have it at Sign Shop. So the way that you find Sign Shop is you have to know where an existing Burning Man department is. So you can go into that department and find the map of where all of our different departments are camped. So you can find Sign Shop so we can party there at 8 in the morning on Wednesday of event week.
Listeners, it'll be Wednesday at 2. We'll figure out a spot.
Yeah.
If you've got a camp that wants to host us, tell us now.
Yeah, tell us if you want to host us. Otherwise, we might be in Center Camp.
Or back at Playa Home Companion.
I don't know about Center Camp this year.
Yeah.
Center Camp's pretty booked.
Never stopped us before.
Yeah.
Are we not people who cannot just start fucking off in Center? Who's going to yell at us this year?
Look,
Everyone loves us.
It's not about getting yelled at. It's about it being a crowded place full of stuff and trying to throw a party in the middle of it.
You know what we can do is just throw it at Lamplighter's bar because it's right before they start recruiting. The bar's open. They have a big space.
That's true.
Okay, counterpoint. We have all of the tools we need to disassemble the bike racks outside of Center Camp and reorganize them in a semicircle, which can hold our party and all of our partiers' bicycles.
Yeah, check back later, listeners. We'll have a space.
But
we're going to use the flag this year.
We want to say every year this is a really cool opportunity for us to meet you guys. We get a little overwhelmed and we flinch about it every year, but it's actually so cool to get to like hug you guys and meet you and hear about all the cool stuff that you're doing and then pressure you into coming on to the podcast. It's really what this meeting is for. That and us giving you nice booze and you giving us your nice swag.
And afterward, we usually go to one or two of the places that somebody told us they would be at doing a cool thing.
Oh, we attempted several times.
Yeah. But we make it to one or two of them.
Yeah, this is also a reminder. Hey, are you doing a cool thing at Burning Man? A cool event, a cool meal, something that you want to share with us? If you email us at accuracy3rd@gmail.com, we might show up. We might. We do sometimes.
This is a reminder for those of you who heard the other episode of the to send into the inbox so that Beth can see her. Don't forget to do that. Beth doesn't know what I'm talking about. She hasn't listened to that episode, and she didn't sit in on that interview, as you very well know.
What have you fucking signed me up for?
Nothing.
Nothing you won't like.
It better be pictures of pets and not genitals.
It's not, and it's not.
Great.
Not all erogenous zones are genitals, Beth. Don't forget to send in a picture of your butthole to the inbox for Beth. Thank you, patrons.
But what you should really be putting in the inbox is your desire to come and join us on this show, because your stories are how this show happens. We're only so interesting.
I mean, we're pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, but we can't talk about Burning Man for this long without new input.
I find myself compelling. Accuracy Third is produced by Accuracy Third. The music in this episode is by Late Bus. Late Bus, our most prolific purveyor of music and sound bed for the podcast. If you make music, you can send it into the podcast. I'm not sure we'll use it because we have like 30 tracks from Late Bus that we need to use to score these episodes.
Find us on Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky. We are nominally on a couple of other social media platforms.
We're on Discord. The Discord link has worked for like 8 episodes now.
Yay!
Trust the Discord link.
Yeah, come check us out on Discord. You can meet Late Bus, our musical provider.
You can hang out with a bunch of people who've been interviewed on the podcast and talk about hip hop.
Including Punisher, who was only half on this episode because this was about Fender Bender.
Don't forget, it is almost Burning Man season, and Burning Man season means you should look as much like a cop on Playa as possible. Please go to burnernarc.com and get yourself a t-shirt or a sticker or whatever merch with our logos on it that you want. We get $1 of every purchase you make. We're not trying to make a profit off it. We are actually unable to not take $1 for purchases that you make. So we are taking the minimum possible. Get yourself a shirt if you want to look like you listen to the podcast. If you're one of those people who likes to broadcast what podcast you listen to on your chest, boy, do we have that opportunity for you.
Beth and I saw a car yesterday with a bumper sticker that just said, "Friend of the pod."
Nice.
No logos or anything on it.
Connect with us on social media or email us if you want me to make a piece of merch that just says, "This is merch." Tell me if I should put the QR code for the podcast on it or not. I think it's funnier if I don't.
Branded merchandise, TM.
Yep, all of those. If you would like some generic merch, I can make you a hoodie that just says generic merch on it.
I wonder if anybody has formed a business called Branded Merchandise.
I think generic merch is good too. That could be the URL. If someone would like to start an LLC and get us that URL, I've just copyrighted it by talking about it on the podcast.
That's how copyright works.
Goodbye.
When I went to do the perimeter, it was Space Cats. It was super fun. It like fell quick. It didn't take too long. So I drive all the way out there. It was right at the trash fence.
Was this the version of Space Cats that had the horror slide?
Probably.
That one was great.
It must have been removed at that point because it was plastic.
I actually never visited it until the
I love
perimeter, so I didn't go down the
it's
slide.
super cute.
Yeah. It was the one that was right by the trash fence.
Yep.
What was it? It was 2022.
22.
Yep.
So I drive all the way out there on my bike, park my bike by the trash fence, and I'm walking along to get to the perimeter, and I see this life-size Elmo, like human size, crucified.
Yes.
with a sign on it that says no tickling. And to this day, I regret not fucking tickling that thing.
You gotta.
Because I don't know if it was a person just waiting to play a joke.
Just waiting to be tickled.
What's your favorite art piece ever?
Oh,
I'm asking because I have an answer.
it's recent, so who knows if it'll last. But like, I think at this point, Trap House that we found is as high up there as the Cubitron for me.
The Trap House is a fucking miracle.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen on Playa.
I'm going to go ahead and say the Lighthouse Project.
That was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Trap House?
We don't know.
It was unlabeled, unmarked renegade art.
Maybe or maybe not art. Maybe
Okay.
like
Didn't
someone
have
was just
lights
putting
on it,
out
so
there.
it.
But we were in it.
All right.
And we discovered it.
I've asked everybody in the art department.
Okay.
Nobody has any idea.
All right.
I think honestly,
But
my
also,
favorite
like-
art is that set of swings that just broke everyone's spine.
Oh, the pain swings.
Yeah, the ones that like had it was like a teeter totter, but it was up 12 feet, and then it was dropped on one string to like a board that you could put your legs on. So it's
But it wasn't like centered. Nothing was centered on.
oh
it.
yeah,
There was no way to
sometimes
balance
one
on
of
anything.
them was up 4 feet from the other one. It was just like you could sit there and watch people break themselves over and over again.
It was amazing.
It was
You could hear
beautiful.
their wails of pain for miles.
Amazing.
It never stopped being funny.
Nice.
Like, I'm going to say that is on the same tier as the Temple of Brad Pitt is.
That's also
The
top
Temple
tier.
of like it's B plus. I love the Temple of Brad Pitt. It's not as transformative for me as Cubitron was or the Trap House, but like it's amazing to find such an overbuilt, beautifully weird structure and then find out that it is entirely pointed at like aggrandizing this
Brad
celebrity by going into steel sarcophagus. Fucking amazing.
That was one of the biggest laughs I've ever had on.
Like you guys didn't even go in.
I did.
Yes, I did.
Someone didn't. I remember having to shout someone in there.
We sat with Sergio, who was having stomach problems outside for a while.
Well, stop it.
Yeah.
The Temple of Brad Pitt
What-
needs your attention.
What
What
was
is your
your
favorite?
favorite?
I'm not done.
The wings of glory horse.
Oh, that was beautiful.
flapping
the
one?
robot this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was
I love
incredible.
the noise that it makes.
I don't think I saw it moving.
The post-apocalyptic squeaky, like just
I've definitely got video of it. It's amazing. It's
the best thing ever.
it stops and then it starts again and like the torque is perfect. It just goes.
Yeah, and
There's no
it
struggling.
runs and flaps its wings at the same time, but there's 4 buttons, like one by each paw, and someone has to push all 4 buttons at the same time, so it's like a cooperative effort. And when you get all 4 buttons pushed, it does that, and fire comes out the wings, and it's just the noise that it makes when it gets covered with playa, the squeaking. It's like any post-apocalyptic movie, like Playground Swings noise.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that noise? Oh, I love it.
You know what was a gorgeous piece that was right past that this year was the really long reeds. They were
Sticks.
basically
Oh, yeah,
tall sticks.
that like
The whiskers.
40-foot tall sticks.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that moved in the wind and created a really specific sound.
You remember?
Oh, I do have one more funny story.
Yes,
What
please.
was the year you skipped that you regretted? 2018?
2019.
19. He skipped 2019.
Oh yeah, that'd be a easy one to
The
regret.
pandemic was his fault. We're just going to say that now.
God, you suck.
Yeah, I'll take that.
So I arrived to Playa that year, and first thing you do is stop the porta potty because you're ready to pee your fucking pants. I go in there, and there's a flyer that has a picture of Deadpool on it. And it says, Ryan Reynolds is going to be bartending at such and such a bar on like Thursday night at 8:30. And I'm like, oh, fucking bullshit, obviously.
That's incredible.
So Thursday night rolls around, and I'm like, what if it's not bullshit?
I do want to see Ryan Reynolds' handsome
Because
face.
it's possible that it's not bullshit.
Of course.
And I'm
I think he'd like me. I like me.
And I'm not like in love with him or anything, like whatever, who cares? So I forget who I grabbed. I went out there with like 2 people, and we go out to this bar, and there's a dude behind the bar in like a screen quality Deadpool costume. Mannerisms, voice, all of it to a T. To this day, I don't know if it wasn't him.
Fine.
And he's just serving drinks to people. Like, it obviously.
But like that's awesome.
So like I tell people I may or may not have been served a drink by Ryan Reynolds. I don't know.
Fabulous. I can't imagine he hasn't gone.
He's the kind of
would-
person
he
that I
would
could
go.
see being part of the tribe.
Right, and he would do a joke like that.
Uh-huh.
So
Why wouldn't you?
yeah.
Like you have one of the 3 of the coolest Deadpool costumes on the planet.
Like this costume was amazing.
Yeah, like it was fitted to you.
Yeah. Whoever it was fitted to them.
Well,
Yeah, it's probably either Ryan Reynolds or someone who worked in the costume
I
department.
choose
or
to
yeah, or like the stunt double or something.
I choose to believe that was Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, me too.
Or Gilbert
Fine
Gottfried.
with that.
Oh my God! Thank you for coming and completing our set.